Did you know that your diet can have a huge impact on your overall prostate health? It's true, and unfortunately at the moment conditions like an enlarged prostate are extremely common in men due to factors like diet and exercise. An enlarged prostate, which is officially known as BPH, can come with a variety of drawbacks and limitations to your life, all of which can come to frustrate you as you keep going. The symptoms of an enlarged prostate can be pretty annoying, but luckily there are a lot of ways to limit or even reverse the effects of BPH. That's where we come in, as today we are going to go through 10 things to avoid if you have an enlarged prostate, so you're ready and able to fight off the symptoms of BPH. Number 1. Dairy. The first entry is bad news for anyone who really enjoys their milk and cheese. As it turns out, dairy can actually have a pretty negative effect on your prostate health. When you consume dairy, you are taking in a healthy amount of calcium along with it. Although calcium can be great for your body, it can also have a negative effect on digestion and cause a bit of strain to your prostate. If it was just calcium on its own, then it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. But most companies also add other ingredients that can really mess with your prostate. These ingredients are mainly sodium from all the salt they add into the cheese today, and saturated fats in products containing whole milk instead of skim. While these ingredients may help add flavoring, it comes at the cost of hurting your already enlarged prostate, which can have some nasty side effects too. Number 2. Sugar. When you eat a lot of sugary foods, you open your body up to a couple problems that it may soon have to face. The main obstacle in terms of keeping your prostate health up is the inflammation that sugar tends to create. You see, your body doesn't do well with processed sugar, which is mainly what we eat when we go for snacks like donuts, pastries, or other treats. Eating this much sugar can cause your body to swell up internally, which looks and feels like inflammation. While getting heartburn or feeling a bit stiff isn't all that bad on its own, it can put a lot of stress on your internal system to either adapt to this new situation or stop it. Eating sugar can create a lot of problems for your internal system, and most physicians will tell you it's best to limit your exposure to it whenever possible. Number 3. Vegetable oil. Most experts in prostate health will tell you that getting a steady supply of veggies can be absolutely massive in protecting your prostate for the long haul. But while vegetables contain vitamins and nutrients that can directly help protect your prostate from harm, vegetable oil is a different story entirely. Oils tend to be fatty, and fats can pose problems for your internal system, bogging down the gears and slowing your internal processes down quite a bit. Vegetable oil suffers from this problem and can cause inflammation and blockages that create a lot of work for your body to work through. Substituting vegetable oil out for extra virgin olive oil is a really effective way to cut some potential issues out of your life and allow you to focus on bigger issues than just your prostate. Number 4. Soy. Soy is a bit of a head-scratcher in the medical community when it comes to its effect on prostate health, and it has created a very unique situation. When initial testing on soy first began, researchers were fairly confident that the protein source could be a good way to both avoid harmful meat as well as protect your prostate from damage. After the results came back, researchers were surprised to find that soy doesn't actually seem to be the game changer many originally believed it would be, and that soy doesn't seem to have any positive effect on the prostate in general. Testing has shown that eating more soy has absolutely no impact on both BPH as well as prostate cancer, and all that is left now is to find out why soy is so ineffective in this role. Things have become so confusing, in fact, that research is currently going on to see if there are actual negative impacts on your prostate that can result from eating soy, making it a food that is best to stay away from if you are concerned about your prostate health, at least until we have more data. Number 5. Red meat. Diets high in red meat, especially those in which the meat is mostly prepared well done, seem to pose an increased cancer risk, according to the World Health Organization. The initial idea was that this increase in cancer risk is the result of carcinogens found in red meat, but there may be more to this story than we are seeing. While red meat may contain carcinogens, that isn't the only reason why you should avoid it, as it can also irritate or even cause a BPH flare-up. Red meat holds on to fat and oil, which can have a negative effect on an already irritated and enlarged prostate. Most medical experts suggest trying to substitute your red meat dishes whenever possible in order to avoid prostate issues from popping up sooner in life than you expected. On this channel, we often cite red meat as a problem food, mostly because of the health issues it carries. Unfortunately, if you are at risk of prostate issues or are already experiencing the effects of conditions like BPH, then red meat is definitely a food you should treat with caution. Number 6. Saturated fats. Generally, it's a bad idea to consume foods with a high fat content, so it's no surprise that saturated fats have made their way onto this list. Saturated fats, even when compared to other fats, have a very high inflammatory potential, which can cause a lot of stress on your internal organs and systems. Studies have shown that people eating diets consisting of a large amount of saturated fats tend to suffer from conditions like BPH and prostate cancer, more than the average person. And we know that cancer feeds off of inflammation. In order to protect yourself against prostate cancer, as well as irritation as a result of BPH, you should try to look a little closer at the foods you are regularly eating. If they say they contain a lot of saturated fats, then you should see if there is another brand or similar product that you could eat in its place. Number 7. Alcohol. There are a whole lot of reasons to stay away from alcohol, but today we are going to mostly focus on how alcohol affects your prostate. Studies over the years have confirmed that drinking more alcohol increases the severity of lower urinary tract symptoms, and it can even impact your ability to urinate or form a stream. These issues hint at bigger problems for people suffering from prostate issues. Simply put, drinking alcohol has its own fair share of issues, but even setting all of that aside, alcohol making you feel like you have to urinate more often is sure to set off symptoms of BPH and put some strain on your already sensitive prostate. Drinking can be a really tough habit to shake, but doctors everywhere urge you to consider it if you are diagnosed with any sort of prostate-related issue. Number 8. Processed meats. If you thought that red meat was bad for your enlarged prostate, then you haven't seen anything yet. Processed meats are extremely bad for you, and the reason mostly comes down to how it's packaged and distributed. In order to keep it edible for that long, processed meat is loaded with sodium and preservatives. These preservatives contain known carcinogens, which is why foods like bacon are considered cancer-causing foods. The sodium levels, however, are going to do a number on your internal systems, and that goes double for your prostate. If your sodium levels are high, you are most likely going to experience a pretty severe form of inflammation, which is pretty bad news. Like we touched on earlier, inflammation can cause serious conditions, such as cancer, to form in the body, and it can also put a lot of pressure on your prostate. The amount of strain that processed meats cause your body to go through just to enjoy them is honestly a lot, and a big reason why so many people are trying to completely shake this food from their regular rotation. We have always known that processed meats probably aren't the best for us, but it wasn't until recently that we truly started to understand the toll they can take on our bodies. Number 9. Caffeine. For the same reason that you should stay away from alcohol, you should also try to stay away from caffeine whenever possible. Whenever you drink caffeine, you probably feel like you have to use the bathroom shortly after. There is actually a medical reason for this feeling though, and this is something that you want to avoid if you have BPH. Number 10. Eggs. Eggs, just like milk and cheese, contain a lot of choline. This ingredient, like calcium, isn't really good for us if we are experiencing prostate issues, and it can lead to an escalation of your BPH symptoms too. Eggs have jumped back and forth from being a miracle food to being one that you should stay away from at all costs. And it wasn't all that long ago that people were staying away from it and claiming it impacted your cholesterol. This choline issue seems to have been all but confirmed though, making it a problem food for people with enlarged prostates. You should still be okay if you don't eat a lot of eggs or dairy, but combining the foods is how a lot of people end up with serious prostate issues as they get older. Here are 2 more videos you may find interesting. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share the video with your friends. And for more interesting videos on health, subscribe to the channel.